Ever since I was a kid, all my parents wanted from me was to get good grades and find a good job after college. They loved me, wanted the best for me, and as far as they knew, that was the most responsible way to live my life. So many of their roommates during college had chosen to party and spend their money rather than saving and getting good grades. My parents learned from those experiences and told me to do the right thing, as they saw it. But something with that life never felt right with me. If you're watching this video, you've probably had a similar experience with your parents. They want you to get good grades no matter what, and you're afraid to let them down. So, starting in middle school, I listened to my teachers, showed up to class, and got straight A's. I remember always doing my homework no matter how pointless the assignment felt, or how I wasn't actually learning any real skills. It had to be the right thing to do. Everyone in my life was telling me all about how grades mattered, even to the point where I cared more about getting good grades than seeing my friends. That of course all changed when I saw a meme that said C students become CEOs and A students end up working for them. That completely changed how I saw my schoolwork, and it actually makes sense when you think about it. Students who get good grades are actually doing it because their parents want them to have a safe job like they do. Office worker parents are actually training their kids to become office workers just like them. But if you're watching this video, like me, you probably don't want to just become an office worker, working all day to make someone else, in this example your office boss, rich. You don't want to take your life's energy working as hard as you can so your boss can buy his wife a new Mercedes and vacation home. You want to become a millionaire instead. I was the same way. I had my straight A's. But after my mindset changed, I quickly became a C or sometimes even a D student, much to my teachers' and parents' anger. I will tell you now why I made the right decision, and the A students made the wrong decision, who get good grades and become professionals like accountants, doctors, or engineers, are really not much more rich than the average person. They think they're rich though because they can make $200,000 to $300,000 a year. That's serious money. Even my cousin works at a top company as a computer engineer and went to a top university and got an A average for his grades. The thing is though, I make more money than him, and I work a lot less, maybe 5 hours a week, keeping tabs on my businesses and streams of passive income. This is because I realized skills and knowledge matter more than grades. But let's look at this financially. Why do professionals who make six-figure incomes, like $200,000 to $300,000 a year, after climbing up grueling careers actually make so little money? This should be the best-case scenario for A students. When you make $250,000 a year as a consultant, doctor, or engineer, you first lose half of your income in the United States to federal and state taxes. The rest, of course, goes to the high cost of living, trying to live around these companies with all the high-paying jobs in the most expensive cities with the worst standards of living. When you're an A student, you fight in traffic and crowds to compete in cities for your job. Sure, you get paid a lot, $250,000 in this case, but you have to pay, after taxes, your expensive rent for your apartment, your car to commute, your credit card bills for nights out at restaurants and partying with friends, and after all of these costs, even a lawyer making a solid six figures is left with so little. If you think you're rich, if you have a lifestyle like what I just described, you're flat out wrong. You lose almost everything you earn to the cost of living and taxes. Opposite of that, there's C students like me. C students pay 0% tax, or at worst, up to 20% in taxes on their money. This is because the best C students, who realize they aren't learning real skills and knowledge in school, go to seek it out for themselves. They take their education into their own hands and become business owners and investors like me. After my first year of high school, I was never an A student again. I routinely got C's and D's, and during university, I was lucky if I even showed up to class. I remember one class in particular, I did get an A for once though. You're probably thinking, but this guy just told me he was a C student. Well, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. I was a C student where it didn't matter, and an A student where it did matter. I also worked a lot smarter, not harder. So for that rare class where I got an A, what did I do? I actually showed up to class only 3 times. Those 3 times were the first day of class, so I understood what was going on, the midterm, and the final exam. I was not a great student. I was not great in my subjects, but I became financially smart, and more importantly, smart with my time. I learned my time is valuable, and if possible, I should never trade my time for money, because time is limited, and money is infinite. The rich work for assets that generate passive income, but for the A students and the office workers, sure, they have these high-paying jobs as doctors, lawyers, and engineers, but they're trading their precious time for money. I make my money without spending much of my time at all. The rich take this even further and use their money to buy and control other people's time. Those A students have good jobs, but once they stop working at their jobs, they would go bankrupt in months, probably losing their house, expensive car, and wives in the process. This is because they don't save. They spend their money on consumable items and experiences that are gone. They usually only have one source of income too. This is not to say working at a job is bad, but you need to be smart about it. Take your money, save your money, and get as much money you earn as possible into assets that generate income passively, so you don't need to trade your time for money. Or at least that's what I learned. A students often spend their money on cars to impress no one and houses in dirty cities with high cost of living that leaves them with so little money in their bank account at the end of the month. I understand. After you work so hard in school, especially when you graduate, your parents are so proud of you, and now you want to move to a new house and get a new car. But if you do that, you're spending your money on liabilities that don't generate you income, and you will never get rich doing that. The reason A students end up working for C students, though, is because they're afraid of failure. Before I built my 4 businesses and 12 sources of passive income, I failed 9 out of 10 times. I remember all the different website and business ideas I had that failed. The thing that A students don't realize is that it only takes one huge success to make all of those failures irrelevant. All of the best entrepreneurs and startup CEOs failed many times before they finally made it big. No one cares about their failures now. They only care about their successes. Students don't want to take the risk of failure. They want the safe bet, working for the C student at his company. That's okay, but by doing this, the A student will never become rich. That's why they spend so much on things that don't expand their streams of income, like cars and houses and partying. They just want a safe, secure job to keep their lifestyle going. That's how A students work for C students. So when your parents and teachers tell you to get good grades, graduate from college, they're telling you to work as hard as you can so you can help a C student get more rich, building up his company. How you avoid this is you become a C student and build up a business and start investing in yourself. If you want to start investing so you don't have to trade your time for money, consider using an investing app like M1 Finance. With M1 Finance, you can buy and sell stocks, bonds, and ETFs right from your smartphone. But in order to do that, you're going to have to learn how to invest. Watch this video about how to invest your first $1,000. See you next time as we make you a millionaire.